In the Karoo Highlands Game Reserve in South Africa, a lioness gives birth for the first time in the middle of the harsh dry season. The 2 lion cubs were born weak and trembling, but their first roar still rang out faintly. However, the maternal instinct does not come to the lioness, she leaves immediately after giving birth. The lion cubs, later named Ruto and Zana, lay curled up, not getting a drop of milk. The conservation staff discovered and quickly carried the 2 cubs into the intensive care room. Ranger Nora, who has been with the Karoo for 7 years, stayed overnight with the 2 lion cubs. Her colleague, Tessa, checks the temperature and heart rate of her 2 young children every hour. Ruto's breathing was weak, Zana's eyes were closed, both of their hopes of survival seemed to be hanging by a thread. Experts tried milk replacer, but the lion cub's digestive system had difficulty responding to artificial formula. Nora knew, without a real foster mother, they wouldn't last 3 days. The entire sanctuary held an emergency meeting, searching for a final solution for the lives of the 2 fragile creatures. Tessa remembered an old story about a dog raising a leopard cub, and decided to try something daring. They searched the area for nursing dogs, and received only one response. A family 20 kilometers from the Karoo reported that their German Shepherd Mila had given birth, but the puppies were stillborn. Without hesitation, Nora got in the car and left that night, carrying the last hope for Ruto and Zana. Mila, 8 years old, is healthy, has sharp eyes and has been known to be picky with cats since she was a child. Mila's owner tried to adopt a kitten, but it was barking, avoiding her, and unusually nervous. Tessa saw Mila step out of the barn and immediately suspected that her hopes might have been too bold. However, when Mila was given the piece of cloth that smelled of Ruto and Zana to smell, it only slowly licked it once. They brought Mila back to the sanctuary the next morning, the old dog's eyes no longer showing wariness. As Mila entered the care room, Nora held her leash tightly, ready to react if she reacted badly. Ruto and Zana were sleeping, curled up in their beds, their fur standing on end from the cold, breathing raggedly. Mila approached, sniffed around, then suddenly lay down and gently pulled the 2 lions close to her. Everyone held their breath, Nora squeezed her hand, Tessa's eyes filled with tears, Ruto began to suckle. Zana was still hesitant, but Mila turned her head, licking the back of her neck lightly, she began to suckle in response. A magical moment of silence, only the faint breathing and gentle sucking echoed in the small wooden room. She accepts them. Tessa exclaimed, then quickly turned away to wipe away a sudden tear. Mila licked each ear, carefully nuzzling them close to her belly as if they were her lost children. From that day on, Mila never left her 2 lions' side, she protected them as if they were the most sacred things in life. Ruto and Zana officially have a new mom, not a lion, but a brave one. Mila cared for the 2 lions with a devotion not unlike that of an adult lioness. She licks clean the mud, feces and even the excess milk that sticks to their muzzles every time they are full. Even though she had to wake up 4 times a night when Ruto was acting up, Mila never barked or whined once. Zana often snuggles up to Mila's leg when sleeping, as if seeking safety from her mother's warmth and heartbeat. Ruto liked to nibble Mila's ear, once it bled slightly, but Mila just looked and licked it back affectionately. Every morning, Mila walks around the cage, using her snout to nudge the 2 children as if to say, "It's time, wake up." The 3 of them usually lay under the shade of an acacia tree, Mila in the middle, with the 2 lions curled up on either side. "We no longer have a lion, we have 3 dogs with the same mother," Nora joked. Zana learned how to restrain his claws from Mila. Every time he pounced too hard, Mila would turn her head and lick his forehead as if to teach him a lesson. Both Ruto and Zana grew surprisingly fast, eating well, suckling well, and starting to play with large tree roots. Tessa often sat down to write in her diary, "I have never seen a dog with a motherly love that goes beyond the limits like Mila." Mila used to bark fiercely at the sight of a big lion, now she growls softly to protect her cub. Love from Mila turned instinct into identity, a mother of a different species but the same kind in heart. Mila's story spread throughout the sanctuary, visitors came just to see the lion mother. But time passed, Mila began to walk more slowly, her breathing became heavier, and she no longer took her child for long walks. Ruto and Zana are now nearly 60 kilos, with thick fur, sharp claws, and are beginning to learn survival skills. Mila no longer had the strength to run after him, she could only lie in the shade of a tree and watch from afar. Nora and Tessa decide, it's time to let Mila rest, to spend the rest of her life in peace. On the day of parting, Ruto refused to leave the cage, growling softly and pawing the ground, as if protesting something that was happening. Zana walked around Mila, rubbing her head and not leaving, her eyes like a child about to leave her mother. Mila licked each of their foreheads, then turned her head several times as she got into the car with Nora. Tessa said, that dog traded his remaining youth so that these two lions could live. Mila returned to live in a wooden house on the outskirts of the town of Grafrianet, where she was taken care of every meal. She remained conscious, occasionally looking up at the door whenever she heard a familiar noise, as if hoping her child would return. Ruto and Zana were moved to a larger training pen, learning to hunt, climb and observe prey. They were more aggressive, more reactive to other animals, but still gentle when they saw Nora's green coat. Tessa often told new guests about Mila, but no one believed her until they saw the real lick on Zana's cheek. 2 years passed, Mila was old and weak, her legs shaking, but her mother's heart still beat strongly. And then one day in October, Nora decided to take Mila back to the Karoo to see how she was doing. No one knows what will happen. Will the two lions remember their mother from another species? The day Mila returned, the reserve was carefully prepared, rangers kept a close watch around Ruto and Zana's cage area. Nora gently led Mila through the gate, her hands shaking with excitement, while Tessa clutched the walkie-talkie without saying a word. Ruto and Zana were standing on the high mound, looking into the distance. They had not yet noticed who was approaching. The wind changed direction, Mila raised her head, sniffing a familiar scent, she suddenly wagged her tail, walking faster. Zana was the first to notice, it paused, eyes wide, then suddenly growled and dove. Ruto followed, running as if bursting from a memory buried deep within 2 years of growing up. Nora shouted, "Hold the gate." But Mila stood still, unafraid, her eyes waiting for the inevitable. Zana ran over, not growling threateningly, he buried his head in Mila's neck, rubbing it over and over. Ruto slowed down, then lay down on the ground, licking Mila's feet like a lost child looking for his mother. The sight left the ranger speechless, no attack, just soft whimpers and frantic tail wagging. Mila licked each of their cheeks, her tail wagging slightly, her eyes half closed as if she had never left them for a day. Zana lay beside Mila, her head resting on her mother's back, while Ruto stood guard, eyes looking in all directions as if to protect Mila. Tessa burst into tears, they still remember. After all, they still consider you their mother. Mila lay between two huge lions, fearless, as if they had never been apart. Under the Karoo afternoon sun, 3 creatures of different species gather, where love needs no blood. A team of researchers from the University of Cape Town immediately came to record this strange phenomenon. They took photos, videos, measured Ruto and Zana's cortisol levels and neurological responses when near Mila. The results showed that the contact did not stress the lions, but instead made their hearts more stable than normal. This is not an instinctive reflex, says one mammal biologist, it is real memory and emotion. Dogs adopting lion cubs is rare enough, but 2 adult lions recognizing their mother is almost unheard of. The entire research team unanimously called this a rare case of stable interspecies motherhood in nature. The data and images will be displayed at an international conservation exhibition titled, Love Beyond Instinct. Mila was then sent home, living out the rest of her life in peace, but was invited back to visit her child every year. Ruto and Zana, despite becoming apex predators, were gentle as they lay next to that small figure. At Karoo Highlands, everyone believes, Mila is more than just a dog, she is a mother, in the fullest sense of nature. What do you think about this story? Please leave your comments in the comments section.